debunk those myths and get you mindset correct so you can conquer the world and be that world-class CISO that you are destined to be. Welcome to Life of a CISO. I'm Dr. Eric Cole, your host, and we'll be taking you on a journey each week on what it takes to be a CISO and what are solutions that you can implement today if you are currently a Chief Information Security Officer or if you want to be one in the future. This is Life of a CISO. Welcome to this week's episode of Life of a CISO with yours truly, Dr. Eric Cole. It is one of my favorite times of the week because we get to talk and discuss what it means to be world-class. And as you know, to be a world-class CISO requires several things. One is you have to have the technical knowledge. You must also have the business knowledge, and you must also have the proper mindset. Because if you know cybersecurity and you know business and you could translate really good, but you don't have the right mindset, you sit there and go, no one's going to hire me. No one's going to bring me in, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to be able to become world class. So while a big focus of Life of a CISO is on the actual technical role of the CISO and the strategic role and the translation and the questions to ask, I do periodically like to throw in some episodes on mindset because what I find is the technical and strategy are things that are easy for people. They're things that you can pick up, and I've covered a ton of that in my podcast and also in my CISO Cert program. And if you're interested in that, let us know. I'd be happy to have someone jump on a call with you. But it's the mindset that always gets people in the way. It's the mindset that always goes in and trips them up. And what I find is I'm always looking at patterns. I'm looking for patterns and overlap. And what I find happens a lot is there's these phrases that people in society have adopted, and they're just wrong, right? They're not correct and valid, and they cause us so much problem and so many issues. So on this episode of Life of a CISO, I'd like to go over with you what those are, debunk those myths, and get you mindset correct so you can conquer the world and be that world-class CISO that you are destined to be. The first phrase, and this one trips up more CISOs than anything else. And it's the phrase that we all heard growing up, and I was told this my whole life. Treat people the way you want to be treated. We tell our kids that. Well, little Mary or little Johnny, is that the way you want to be treated, right? Treat others the way that you would want them to treat you. And it sounds good. It rolls off the tongue, and it's completely false. And here's why. Everyone is unique and different. Everyone looks, learns, acts, and behaves differently. So if we're in this mindset that I'm going to treat everyone the way that I want to be treated, we're assuming everyone is exactly like us, which is totally false. And where this becomes harmful is to be a world-class CISO. You're really a translator. You need to have cybersecurity expertise, and you need to have business understanding and expertise. You need both. Very few people have both. Typically, you're going to have one stronger than the other. Most people going into a CISO role, because false belief that it's a technical role, it's not, right? But that's the problem. People believe it's a career track for technical people, that after 10 or 12 years of being a world-class security engineer, you become a world-class CISO and you continue being technical, and that is not correct. There's also some that start on the business because they think, oh, we need more business folks, and then they don't really understand the cyber. Either way, if you're treating people the way that you want to be treated, the way you're comfortable, it's not going to work. Because if you've been a world-class CISO for 10 years, you like technical, that's how you want to be treated because that's your comfort level. You've been doing it for 10 years and hopefully you enjoy it if you're doing it for 10 years. So that is the language you like to speak in. So your default mode of operation, whether you realize it or not, if you've been doing it for 10 years, is to treat people the way you want to be treated, which is technical language, technical components, and technical solutions. Problem is, when you speak to the executives, they don't know that language. They don't want to know that language because that's your security team. They want to understand business. So the real trick is treat people the way they want to be treated. Understand your audience. Understand who you're speaking to. Understand how they like to learn. Ask questions. And then once you truly understand the audience, then you could treat them the way they want to be treated. And this comes up in a lot of ways. Eric, the executives don't listen to me. When I go in and present and speak, nobody listens to me. They don't follow through. Everyone's on their phone. No one's paying attention. I don't get invited to the meetings. That is a really, really good indicator that you are not treating them the way they want to be treated. You are not speaking their language. You're speaking your language, which they don't understand, and that's going to be problematic. So remember, world-class CISOs understand their audience. They first ask questions before they speak. They understand the concept that smart people know the right answers and brilliant people ask the right questions. So they seek to understand before they want to be understood, and then they always treat people the way they want to be treated. So that's first thing. World-class CISOs recognize their audience, who they're speaking to, and they can adapt and adjust. Another way to think about it, world-class CISOs are chameleons. They can adjust and adapt to their audience. I get that comment all the time. If I'm in front of a technical crowd, boom, I give one presentation. If I'm in front of executives, I give another presentation. If I'm in front of doctors, I give another presentation. My messaging is similar. I'm just understanding the audience and adjusting my language to treat them the way they want to be treated and speak in terms that they understand and can then act and take action on. The next one, and this one just irks me beyond belief. You hear people all the time. Functionality, performance, security, pick two, right? And you know there's a lot of variations of that. Functionality and security, pick one, right? Or other variants like that. And I'm sitting there going, who came up with that one? That is about the biggest, lamest excuse I ever heard on the planet, right? It's like that phrase, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's stupid. Why can't I eat my cake? I don't understand why I can't have my cake and also eat it. I do that all the time. I love desserts, right? I have my cake and I eat it, right? Crazy telling me I can only have one, right? So same thing. Guess what? World-class CISOs deliver functionality, performance, and security. Pick all. So this idea that it can't be done holds back more people from being successful than probably anything else. Because they go in, and I talk to these folks all the time, Eric, the executives just don't understand. I tell them all the time, if you want it fast, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be secure, right? If it's more expensive, right? Any variations of those cost, performance, security, anything like that, and they just don't get it. And I'm laughing. I'm like, you don't get it, right? World-class CISOs deliver all three. You can do it. It's once again, it's something we came up with as an excuse so we don't have to be creative and come up with awesome solutions. But I do it all the time. I deliver quick solutions that are low cost to my clients that have the functionality they want and are secure. I deliver systems that perform amazing. They have exactly the functionality the client needs, and they're super secure and locked down. So we have to overcome that. Average CISOs go in and say, we only deliver one. If you want it secure, it's not going to be functionally rich. And if you want it secure, it's not going to be fast or cheap. And recognize that world-class CISOs understand problems and go in and over-deliver. Just want to take a quick break. I hope you're enjoying the show. I have this free webinar that I would love for you to check out. if you want to become a world-class CISO. That's another one that's tied to this that I hear all the time, because I coach CISOs and I go into meetings with them and they're like, Eric, why did you promise all that? Like, what do you mean? You can deliver. They're like, oh, no, Eric. You got to under-promise and over-deliver. What? Stupid. I built my whole career. I built multiple successful businesses. I'm doing it right now on a simple concept. Over-promise and over-deliver. Why in the world would I under-promise a customer? Because then when they're looking at others, they're going to be like, oh, Eric said he can't do this. Well, why in the world? I'm world-class. I can run circles around everyone else. I always tell my team, if you see competitors nearby, it's because we lapped them, right? It's not because they're catching up, right? So over-promise, over-deliver, right? Functionality, performance, security, do all of them, right? If you're world-class, right, you got to go in and change the rules. So just because it's nice, it rolls off the tongue, and it's a good excuse, don't buy into status quo. Don't buy into average, right? World-class over-delivers, over-promises, and delivers exactly what customers want, which is a functional program within schedule, within the cost promise, that performs well with proper security built into the equation. The next one that I always hear too, which cracks me up, seeing is believing. I go and I say, listen, when you present to the executives, if you do what I say, they will pay attention. They will ask questions. They will give you the budget that you need and require, but you got to change what you're doing. Oh, Eric, seeing is believing, right? I've been doing this for 10 years, and they've never done that, and they never listen to us, and blah, 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 and I'm not going to change until they change, right? Once again, you're not going to be world-class with that attitude. You got to change first. Believing is seeing. You got to go in and believe that if you change how you do things, you understand, you overpromise, overdeliver, that the executives will then change and behave differently. When I work with our clients, I never have trouble getting budget. I almost have 100% accuracy. I go and I say, okay, they give me a lot, and I say, here's what I'm going to go in, and I will get you $400K for these 2 projects. The other ones, I can't get you because it's not a good return on investment, or it's not a strong enough case, but these I can. And I walk out of the meeting with the budget because I know how they think, I know how they act, and most importantly, I believe before I see. I know that they're going to go in and give us that money. And remember, it's real simple. What executives care about and want to know is what could happen, what is the likelihood if it happens, what is the cost if it occurs, and what is the cost to fix it. If you do that and you only present items that have an amazing return on investment, so I'm going to present things that have a 95% chance of occurring. If they occur, will cost the company $5 million, and I want $200K to fix it. That's a no-brainer. I'm never going to go in and say, I want $500K to fix a problem that has a 40% of occurring, and if it occurs, will cost $1 million. That's not a good return, right? So understanding and knowing those key components and those key aspects of the business make all the difference in the world. No, the next one, and this one comes up a lot because I work with a lot of new CISOs. No one will hire me without experience, and therefore, since I don't have experience, nobody will hire me. And you get in this vicious loop. If that was true, if it was a true statement that companies only hire people with experience, we wouldn't have any professionals in this world, because a doctor would have never got hired. Because guess what? Somebody gave that doctor the first chance when they did not have any experience. There was the first paid person that doctor operated on. Pilots. Now, they're not going to tell you, because I think everyone would run off the plane, but every pilot had their first time in the cockpit taking off and landing a plane with real passengers in the back. Everybody had their first time. Everybody at some point got hired without that real world experience. Now, when I give that, some people always push back and go, oh, but Eric, the pilots still went through training and everything else, and the doctors went through it. Yeah, but the point you're missing is somebody gave them a chance before they actually had that real experience, right? It's true in every field. And it's especially true with Chief Information Security Officer. And here's the coolest part. There's not enough of them, right? It's not an overcrowded space. So if you want to become a world-class CISO and you speak the language, and I show you how to go through the interviewing process in these podcasts and in my CISO cert, and you follow it, they will absolutely hire you. I have a very high track record of getting brand new CISOs their first gig. So this idea that no one will hire you without experience is garbage, right? It's hogwash. It's just not true, because if there was any truth to it, nobody would ever get hired. It's this vicious loop, right? Because nobody has experience at some point in their life, and somebody gives them the experience. So if you're telling me without that experience, no one would get hired, then no one would ever get hired, right? So don't limit yourself. There's the right organization out there. There's the right team for you to join, and you just have to change the mindset. Oh, companies all the time hire people without experience. And I have so much knowledge that I'm ready to go. I've been through the simulators. I've been trained. I've been through the interns. I know this inside and out, and I'm going to own it and rock it. It's all the language and how you show up. I could tell you right now, I could go in and show you a video of two people going into an interview. No sound. I'm not taping the interview, just on how they show up. If it's a live interview, how they walk into the building and show up, or if it's a video, how they show up and present themselves in the first 2 minutes. Just the visual video. And I bet you, with 100% accuracy, you could tell which one of them is thinking, no one will hire me because I don't have experience, and which one is thinking, I'm world class and I'm the best thing that happened to this organization, and they're going to hire me in a second. Because you act differently. You behave differently. Your physiology is completely different. And I know some people like, Eric's getting into movement. No, Eric's getting into real world. Eric's getting into reality. Because how you think and what you focus on controls everything. So if you're going in to an interview thinking this is a waste of time, they're not going to hire me, I don't have experience, I don't know what I'm doing, you don't realize it. But physiology, you're going to portray that to them, and they're going to pick up on that. And like I said, I can show you videos, 20 videos, and you can be like, boom, boom, but 100%, because it's that visible. It's that visible in how you show up and how you act. So you need to change that. People all the time hire folks without experience. You have experience. You have knowledge. You just haven't had the title. And that's the shift. You have the experience. You've done it. You know what is required. It's just nobody gave you the title yet. That doesn't mean you're not a world-class CISO. It just means nobody gave you the title, right? Completely different mind shift in how you look at it and how you operate. So I want to make sure that as we talk about world-class CISOs, you recognize that you have to speak the language and understand who you're talking to. You have to be a great chameleon to adjust and adapt based on the target, the audience, and what they want to know. You also need to recognize that world-class doesn't follow the rule of the average. Average people show up on time. World-class shows up early. Average say, we can only do one of these or two of these, functionality, performance, security. World-class says, let's do all three. Average says, under-promise. World-class says, over-promise, over-deliver. Then the next one is world-class CISOs know they're world-class. It's not an arrogance. It's just a confidence. Big difference. You're not going in there and saying you're better than everyone else, and you're not talking in the interview how brilliant you are. But you're walking in and you own that room. You're owning that interview. You know what to say. You know when to say it. You're respectful. You understand what they're looking for, and you over-deliver on it. It's all about making sure you have that right mindset. And remember, even if you don't have the CISO title today, that doesn't mean you don't have experience. It just means nobody gave you that title. I hope these will help you as you move in becoming a world-class CISO. If we can help you in any way, either drop a note below, send me an email at ecole@secure-anchor.com, or go to secure-anchor.com/CISO, and we're happy to work with you, because guess what? Your destiny, and you need to own this, is that you are a world-class CISO.